welcome to another comic book review. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Tony Stark Iron Man, Volume 1, Self-Made Man. This one is, of course, written by Dan Slott, with art by Valerio Schiti. Our story begins with Tony Stark picking up the pieces of his life after implanting a digitally preserved version of his consciousness into a reconstructed version of his body. Apparently, Stark had been left in a coma after the events of Civil War II or something. I didn't read that book. In any case, Tony has a new lease on life and is using his new company, Stark Unlimited, to push the bounds of technological progress forward into the future. They are creating things like a virtual reality world where people play games and live out their ideal life. You know, basically the Oasis from Ready Player One. Meanwhile, the Controller has implanted a mind control device in Stark Unlimited's security chief and has plans to do something evil. So first of all, I would like to say that I guess I enjoyed this story a bit more than Slott's first arc on Fantastic Four, which I recently reviewed, but I can't say that I would recommend this one either. This one has many of the same issues I identified in my review of Slott's Fantastic Four. In this first arc alone, for example, Slott references The Hobbit, Power Rangers, Godzilla, Westworld, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, Ready Player One, the list just goes on and on and on. But I didn't find any of the characters in this story to be mind-numbingly stupid, and I thought one of them in particular was kind of interesting. Jocasta, the bride of Ultron, is an employee of Stark Unlimited in this book. She's something akin to a human resources director for robots at the company, who makes sure Stark respects the robots the same way he would people. And I thought she had some really interesting bits in this book. Her story is all about wanting to fit in with the humans at Stark Unlimited, and she even longs to become human herself. There isn't exactly a cerebral exploration of where the line between man and machine is here. It's not exactly Ex Machina or anything, which is a wonderful film, by the way. I highly recommend that. But there are some genuinely sad and at the same time unsettling scenes with Jocasta where she longs for a way to become human. All of the things I found to be even vaguely interesting about this first arc came from her, because she's sort of what the theme of the story is aiming to be about. The stories in this first arc are mostly loosely connected one-and-done issue stories, with the question of what the differences between artificial and organic intelligence are tying them all together. It's not resolved in this arc specifically, but Tony is sort of worried whether he has a soul anymore in this story because of how he had to restore his consciousness in a reconstructed body from a digital backup. There's actually a pretty nice scene between him and Jocasta where she tells him she's confident she has a soul, so he must not have lost his in the process of restoring himself either. Jocasta's boyfriend, the Machine Man, is also really against the idea of integrating humans and machines, but he's just kind of played for laughs, so we don't really do much with that idea. In fact, none of the ideas about artificial intelligence are expanded upon to make this story particularly deep or thematically interesting to me, but I at least appreciated that this story attempted to have a theme in the first place. The plots of the various stories here I found to be kind of boring and just setups for slot gags. It took me a while to get through this one because the stories never really hooked me, but they weren't poorly written for what they were, which I appreciated. For example, the fourth issue is about a new dating app that everyone at Stark Unlimited downloads. All the employees appear to have met their soulmates on the app, and things appear to be going really well for everyone. But it turns out everyone was being catfished. All of the people that Stark Unlimited employees met on the app were actually killer robots that attempt to murder all of them and steal Stark tech for one of Tony's competitors. Tony ends up defeating the robots by uploading a picture of himself to the dating app, which causes millions of people to try and date him and crashes the app's server. Since the robots were all a hive mind AI connected to the dating app, this kind of kills all of them. As you can see, this whole conceit was just a setup for a bunch of gags about online dating, and it honestly kind of bored me. But I didn't feel as if any of the characters in the story were so stupid they defeated themselves, so that was kind of nice. Slott's voice for Tony is about what you'd expect. It's a decent enough Robert Downey Jr. imitation without any of the pathos that character has because the tone of the story is so light and fluffy and comedy-driven. None of the humor really made me laugh, but I wasn't cringing as hard as I usually do when reading a Slott title. The only times I really cringed were when he was making the random pop culture references I mentioned earlier. Besides Tony and Jocasta, the rest of the characters are just kind of there, and not much is done with them. There's a budding romance between a new character that's introduced named Andy Bong and Tony Stark's mom, but I wasn't particularly interested in either of those characters. I was fine with the romance happening, but it wasn't an element of the story that made me eager to keep reading. Overall, Slott didn't really do much to keep me interested in reading this story. I didn't think the writing was on the extreme bad end, but I wasn't anxious to see what new plot and character developments were in store as I was reading the issues. As I've said, I was kind of bored, which is the least negative reaction I've had to a piece of Dan Slott work I've ever read. So if you're a Dan Slott fan, you may really enjoy this one. Give it a shot if he's your kind of writer. The art by Valerio Schiti is pretty cool. I thought his action was dynamic, and he had some moments where his dramatic skills got to shine. The somber expressions he gives to Jocasta as she watches her human co-workers interact with each other add a bit more dimension to her character, which was much appreciated. I think the art helped a lot in making her the highlight of the book for me. His design for the new motor scooter armor that appears in this story is fine. It's not my favorite design, but it's not my least favorite either. At one point in the story, the Wasp says that it's the best Iron Man armor ever, and I'm not sure what she's talking about. It's pretty middle of the road in my opinion, but to each his own, I suppose. All in all, I'd say check out Tony Stark, Iron Man, Self-Made Man if you're a Dan Slott fan. You'll probably enjoy this one. I'm not a huge Iron Man fan. I don't dislike the character, but he's never been one of my absolute favorites either. So I can't say if there's a ton here for hardcore Iron Man fans to sink their teeth into, but if you're an Iron Man fan, you may find some fun to be had here as well. At the end of the day, I can't really recommend this book, however, because I was sort of bored by it. Even though I have access to all this stuff on Marvel Unlimited, I probably won't continue reading more of it. All right, everyone. If you've read the first volume of Tony Stark Iron Man, let me know what you thought of it in the comments below. If you haven't, let me know what you thought of this review. It really helps me improve my videos. All right, thanks for watching, everyone. I really appreciate it, and I hope you all have a great day.